Hi there, it's Jill here. I've got another project to show you today, and this time it's a sweetie jar, and it's been made using the digi called Rory bag of canes. So here's the jar, and it's full of all candy canes decorated on the top, and what I've made is a sleeve to actually go around the jar. So we've got the digi all coloured up. I've got loads of die cuts, papers, fancy bling, sweetie embellishments here. It goes all the way around, and this just pops over the top of the sweetie jar, so you can change your jar around depending on what it is that you're giving it for. So this one's all decked up ready for Christmas, and inside we can see we've got access to all the canes. So this is a novel little Christmas gift idea, and I'll show you now how to put this together. Alright, so here we go, ready to make this little sweetie storage jar. So what I've got is a plastic container here that had sweeties in it once upon a time. So what better way of making a nice Christmas present than recycling, or upcycling as they like to call it these days, with one of the sweet shop jars. So you can use plastic ones, glass ones, it doesn't really matter. We'll put this aside for the moment so that I can show you the elements I'm going to be using. I have taken Rory here with her bag of canes, because this is very apt for going on my sweetie shop jar. I'll just give you a close-up here of the way I've coloured her. She's in pinks and lilacs and aquas, but still using traditional red and green for the canes and for her Christmas tree. So I've cut her out close round the edge there, and she's now been sculpted. As you can see, she's not completely flat. I've sculpted her ready because she'll go on with the pin flare when we're just about finished the project. So in order to make this one then, I want to decorate the lid first. So I'll take the lid off my jar here. That's the size I'm going to work with. I've already taken things in preparation for this, and I've got them sitting here ready. So because the bulk of the colour is in purple, I've taken this shimmery pearlescent purple. I'm going to die cut in the scallop circle, because the scallop circle is going to fit just nicely round the edge there. And then this pretty pattern here as the inner circle, because this is going to match the colour of the wrap that's going to go around the jar. So I'll bring in now my die cutting machine. I use a Joy Trouvé machine, and mine is a pinky purple colour. Now this is not going to be very exciting for you to watch this. I've got mine decked up with my Powered by Fairy Dust, but we need to turn it this way so that I can actually do my die cutting. I will show you with the plate order before we actually get organised. We have top plate here and the base cutting plate. So I'm going to pop down my dies ready. I will have one in that corner. We'll have one in that corner. Then we'll take, I also use a magnetic sheet in mine. Mine's had a few accidents where I've actually cut through it, as you can see, but I'm going to pop that on the top and then pop on my top plate, and then I will slide my machine back in again, and if you watch, it's going to come out at this side. So we'll pop in the plates and turn the handle. You can hear all the clunking noises going on, but this is just the dye actually going through the paper. And we can see it's coming out at the other side. I'll turn it slightly so it's not going to hit my pen holder there, and I'll be able to catch the plates. That's it going through. Catch that at this side. Fold up the flaps, pop the machine down out of the way, and open up this, and there we have it. We have one circle and we have one scallop circle. So this is now ready to go onto the top of my sweetie jar. So I'll just pop the plates away for just now, and the dies I'll pop over to one side as well. We'll get them out of the way, we'll clear the rubbish, and we'll pop these together. So what I'm going to use here is some double-sided just get little bits onto the circle here. This is a very fine, thin, double-sided tape I've got here, just so I can get into all the small areas, and one just across the middle. And we'll just pop this off and pop it onto the middle of the die cut. Oops, it's not wanting to go there. Two more. And one. Pull down that little edge. Two. There we have it. Taking in the die cut piece here and pop this down, and it goes bang into the middle, and there we have the circle ready to go onto my Sweetie Shop lid. So I'm going to be putting that on just like that there, but I'm going to be applying that on with pin flare, so you need that extra little bit of adhesion. So I'm going to set that aside now, ready to apply the glue. Here we are now then, ready to apply the pin flare, and I'll just pop it on in little blobs all the way around, and a few little bitties just in the middle, and then take that and sit it gently just on the top of the lid. I've got a few of these tiny little sweeties. They're red and white ones. It's the nearest I could find to candy canes, and I'm just going to stick 3 on top of the lid here, because I'm also going to be putting on some sentiments and other bits of embellishments. So I don't want, oh, you can't actually see that on that side, there we are. I don't want to overload it with embellishments on the top, but just a few wee sweeties. There we are, just on the side there. And that now I will set aside, because that's just waiting to get the sentiment put on it. So we'll move on now to actually decorating the jar. I'll clear my area here, and we'll bring in the next pieces. So my jar itself is quite wide. It's wider in circumference here than an actual A4 piece of card, because if you actually take your your length of your A4 card to wrap it round, you get at least 2.5–3 inches of a gap there. So what I've had to do is get 2 sizes done, a larger one and a smaller one, to allow enough for an overlap. Now what we're going to do here then is I've taken the pearlescent purple that I have on the top of the lid, a nice vibrant pink, and the matching paper from what we're using on the top of the lid here, and this is just going to get matted and layered on top of each other to create what's going to go round as a wrap onto the jar. So I'm going to pop on that one onto there, and then this one on to here, so that you can see that that is going to create a nice matte and layered effect. So instead of you sitting watching me doing all that, we'll fast forward that bit again. That'll cut out at least a couple of minutes. So here we are now then. This is it all stuck down, matted and layered in the 3 colours. There's excess at one side because that can just get cut off. I'm going to make this as a wrap to go round the sweetie jar. So we'll fold this into place, work out where it needs to be. So here we can see this is where the excess isn't required, but it just all gets neatly tucked underneath. You've got complete joins, and this will now just slot and lift off. So that's me now got the positioning that I need to be able to pop this wrap together for it to stay in place on my jar. That is the circumference of it all. So what I need to do now is to apply tape from here to here, which is my overlapped area. So I'll have that as one join on one side, and that's where I can actually place my image over, or if I wanted to keep it that as a complete back on it, then I can do. So I'm going to make a couple of little niches with fingernails here, just so that I know where we are. There we are. Open that flat now. So then I know that from here to here I've got to apply my tape. I'm going to pop it this way or it's going to slide off the table there. So I'll take my tape and just run it across here. I'm going to apply lots of tape onto this one because we want this to make sure it's stuck. We need the added security. You can use red tape if you want. Unfortunately, I've run out at the moment, so I'm still using some of my white tape. Another bit there, another couple of bits, and that will be ample. There we are now. So then I shall pull these off, fold in any of the overlapped bits. Any little overlap bits will give extra stick anyway, so that will help. Another one, and another one there, and we'll keep going, at the last one. There we are. So now I'll fold this round. I'll try and do this so that you can actually see it. Very, very sticky. Pop it in the way. I'm going to take this edge up to where I made my finger nicks and pop it in place, and then firmly secure where all the tape was, and just wibble it round just to make a circle. So that then is going to go over my sweetie jar, just like that. And the other good thing about making it into a wrap is you're not actually seeing any double-sided tape in the inside of the jar, which there's nothing worse than when you've got a jar and it's full of nice sweeties and you look inside and you actually see the ick. So there's none of that on there because it's just as a complete wrap. Now the other thing I've got as well is on the paper that I was using, there is a little strip of matching coordinated design here, and I thought this would be quite nice to just wrap around the centre of it. So I have applied double-sided tape already. It won't take long, this one, because there's only 2 strips, and we'll just whip that off. And this side. I'm going to start at the back here because my image I'm going to have roughly at the front, which would be where this 2 sheets of paper join. So there's going to be another element going over the top of that, so this design that I'm putting on here doesn't need to go all the way around the whole thing. So I'm popping this in the middle here, and I'm going to wrap it round gently on that side, and then just gently on this side. There we have. So there's that much of a gap there, as you can see, and that's where my main image is going to be situated. So we'll get rid of this double-sided tape ends and we'll go on with the next thing. So what I thought would be nice is 2 different colours here of the turquoisey blue. I've got this Spellbinder die here and a Joycrafts die. So I'm going to cut these ones out, and this is going to be the layering on the front of the jar. So I'll pop it to one side and I'll bring back up my plates, and I'll just pop these on. That's the good thing with an A4 platform die cutting machine, is you've actually got plenty scope for cutting out more than one die at a time. I'll lay on my lovely cut magnetic sheet just to hold all the dies in place, make sure it's still all in situ here, nothing's moved. Must invest in a new one because this is ridiculous holding it together like that. As you can see, there's that one completely out. That's what I had made a slight boo-boo with before. So we'll pop on my base plate, or as I use it as my top plate there. I'll bring back in my machine and I'll run this through. It might need a couple of runs through because the top one, the Joycraft one, there's a very intricate die. So, or you can hear it squeaking away there like a wee mousey. And it's nearly through now. That's one run through. So I'm going to turn my plate over and pop it through again. So this time you're going to see it coming out with the grey plate on top. There we go. And I've just passed the halfway mark now. Gives a good workout for your arms turning this handle. Boring to watch, I have to say. There we are. That's that out. So we'll put the machine back on the floor. Now, the moment of truth. Has this actually all cut out? Let's just have a wee looky. And yes, we're spot on here. Pop that bit. There we go. Put away that rubbish. And I'll bring in the embossing. I have here, and we'll swap this over. So I'll pop my dies on there ready. I'll pop on the embossing mat and the embossing top plate here. Bring back in my machine and we'll run this through. There's not going to be too much of an embossing detail showing up, but it is just little bits. It's little bits that make the nice effects. There we go. That's it all out. Get that out. Pop my machine away. And we'll lift off. Let's see what we get this time. Very faint embossing on that one, just very, very faint. And this one needs a wee bit more persuasion to come out of the die. Here we are. Very, very faint embossing just around the circle of this one as well here. Just pop out this elements. There we go, that's that one. So we'll put this away and we'll get round to putting this onto the sweetie jar. So what I'm going to do now is put on some double-sided tape on the first die here. This is going to need quite a wee bit of tape on as well because it's going to be going round corners. So the more stick the better. And one down there. One more at the edge here. That's that one. Now peel this off. Oh, that ripped a little bit. And this tape is not wanting to play nice with me today. It's either not wanting to come off at all or it's ripping my card. There we are, that's that all off now. And I will place this onto my die cut. Now I need to work out what way round this is going to go as well. I think it was going to sit like that. So I'm going to place this one just in, oh, nearly, just in the middle there. There we go. That's that one. This is going to now need just a little bit of sculpting so that it can actually go around the jar. So I'll bring the jar back in, and you can see that I want it to sit just about there, so there's enough of it actually to be, so it's not trailing on the bottom of the jar, just like that. So I'm going to put a little bit of bend just here, and then I'll start to sculpt it around. Maybe a rolling pin or something would have been good for this. I know what I'll use. My Mod Podge. And I'll just roll that in on both sides. Just helps to make a neater finish on it if it's already got a little bit of bend on it, rather than forcing it to stick. And that should hopefully be enough. I'll bring back in my jar. I'm just going to try and set it so that you can actually see what I'm going to try and do with it. There. Just about there. So this is going to need some more tape on it. And a few bits down at the sides, because it's the sides it's going to need the extra stick to hold in place. And maybe a big one up the middle there. And this side. Small one at the front there. And a larger one just there. And one up that middle. And one on that middle. Now, let's see if this will work. Just tuck in any little bits that's visible. We don't want it showing through the die cut there. And, oh, there's a bit that's got stuck. Come out, come out, come out. There it is. And that's me, the halfway point there. Another one out. One more. And the last one. Oh, the last one failed. Naughty, naughty. There we go. That to me is enough stick onto that. So let's get this into place in here now. So I've got my wrap in the right place that I want it, and I'm going to pop this in here, making sure of course that I'm not touching the bottom of the jar, or otherwise it won't actually stand up straight. You can see it better if I hold it about there and then squeeze that all in place, so we get a good grip. You can use wet glue of course if you want. There we are. So that now is my base on the front there, ready to take the character image. So Rory that we have here, she's ready to just pop on the middle, so she would look like that. And she's going to go on with some Pinflair glue gel. And we'll just bring that in now. And we'll apply liberal blobs all over and down on that side. That's enough now. And we're ready to place her on top of the die cut, and just to gently pat down into place. If she's not quite in the right place, you can manoeuvre her, because that's the good thing with Pinflair glue gel, you've got squidgeability, as I like to call it, room to move things. So there we have Rory. You can see the dimension there on the jar. That's her actually on the jar now, and I can bring in the lid. That was the inside of the lid of the jar there. Bring that in, turn that round. So you can actually see everything is coordinated with all the pretty colours that's on there. So what I'm going to do now is add some ribbons and some bling. So I'm ready to add on some embellishment bits. So I've got this lovely pink, snowflakey, silvery, dotty, sequiny, whatever you want to call it, looking organza that I think is very nice and festive looking, even though it is pink. I'm going to make a little bow by creating one bunny loop ear and another bunny loop. I'm then going to wrap these two around and pull into a knot and a bow shape, and there we have a little bow. Just shape it into place and going to trim off the edges. Good thing with organza, you can screw it up and then cut it and you get a really nice ruffled effect rather than it looking completely flush. And then I'm going to fan out the bow, and there you have a pretty little bow. So I'm going to pop that onto the side of my jar, just here, with, guess what? Yep, some pinflair glue gel. So I'm going to put enough of that on the back. I've got to have a good hold on this. Turn my jar to the side as to where I want it to go, and just pop that in place. So that's that there. Then I'm going to take another little dot just on the top there, and my bling box here, take out one of the largest pieces and just pop that in the centre. I'll colour that once it's dry. So there we have a little bow that's in place, which looks just pretty at the side. Now I've got a couple of the little red sweeties left over from the top, so what I thought would be quite nice is just to add them down at this side here. So I'm going to take a little drop of pinflair onto them and just pop them on one there, and one there. So that's two little sweeties added on extra. And next, back to this bow that I've got here, I've got some little silver beads on a wire and some little purple crystals on a wire. I'm going to place the two together. Because the beads are already on a longer wire, this will help with the adhesion, so I'm just going to wrap this around the edge so it keeps it all in place, plus it gets rid of any loose ends. Wind it all in. So now it's all become one piece rather than two separate pieces as a little sprig. And I'm going to pop this now, if I can sit that down there, I'm going to pop this in behind where all the pinflair is that's holding the bow in place, and just have it sitting there as an extra little added embellishment effect. You can see it standing up there. So now what I've got is some pearl bling on strips here, and I want to just add some decorative features around the top lid and onto the main circle itself. So these are all on one strip that you can just easily cut down. So I'll cut out, there's one, I'll cut out a couple here already. They're already self-adhesive, so that's good as well. And this now is just going to go onto the lid, and I can just take it from where the edge of the paper is that meets the purple card, and if you just feed it round, it will stick just perfectly to the cardstock. Now imagine sticking them on one by one by one. Yeah, you'd be losing the will to live, wouldn't you? And I'll take the next strip and we'll marry that up Oops, just about there. We are. And then we'll keep winding that around. Almost back at the start there. Here we are. So now I've got a tiny little bit just to fill in just here. And I just so happen to have small leftover little bitties from a previous project. And I'll take that and just pop that in there. Here we have. Just go around it and make sure it's all properly stuck. I'll tip it forward so that you can see how simple that was. So there we go. That's that bit now. Next, I'm just going to apply it again onto the main circle. So I'll just cut off a couple of little strips here. There's one. Oh, off you get. 1 and 2. Okay. So this, if I pop the jar just down here, this now will tuck just under Rory's hat there, and we'll start to wind it round on the die cut. Oh, that's not wanting to stick. Just go again, pop it down. Okay, so I'm just going to finish off with the rest of the pearl bling, going round the remainder part of the centre of the die cut here. And for this bit, we'll just pop it under the edge of her hat again, bringing it right the way around under the ribbons. And just coming out the other side there. Try to get that to sit down flat. Just about there. You can see that last bit there, and now 4 more little ones to go on, and then we're done. And I've got a few here that I can just cut off this little strip if it wants to play. There we go. And I'll just pop that just about under there and tuck that under the edge of Rory. There we are. So there now is all the bling added all the way around the circle. So to me, that's that all ready now, and it just needs to be filled up with some sweeties. So I'll take some last minute photos when I've filled this all up ready, and that'll be the storage jar all done. Hope you enjoyed that one.